What's up, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the fastest way for you to research augments in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Donuts. He did some testing of his own, shared some of his findings over on X, and even made an in-depth video over on his YouTube channel, which I will share a link to in the pinned comment down below, where he goes in depth on just how the researching of augments actually works within BO7. However, I wanted to actually dive into a little bit of testing of my own and try to find a strategy min-maxing this so that you guys could actually dive in and unlock the augments at the fastest possible rate. Now, I will say that this strategy could get a little bit boring. Maybe some of you guys won't really enjoy doing this. However, it will be an option for those of you that want to really speed up the process. And the nice thing about it is it will allow you to kind of do things with one hand. Let's just say the strategy is so good that you could technically, for a good portion of it, play with one hand, or even have something else that you're watching on the side. So it doesn't really require your full attention outside of dealing with bears. Now, I do want to point out some augments that I think will be extremely helpful for this strategy. I'm going to give a big shout out to Toxic Growth. You're definitely going to want to have this equipped. And Errl I'm using, which is Toxic Growth, takes up a wider area, and enemies entering it continue to be slowed after leaving it. Definitely my favorite major. For the minor augments, I'm running extra charge, so that way I can build up 2. Then Green Thumb significantly increase the Toxic Growth's health, which helps deal with the bears because they can stand in it for significantly longer, and the Toxic Growth doesn't just get deleted by the bear themselves. For the ammo mods, we're going to be running Fireworks. This should be pretty straightforward. We're going to be rocking Starburst. Firework explodes immediately, sending flares through enemies in all directions. I'm rocking Starlight. Fireworks launch even more flares, and High Yield increase the area of effect. Then the main perk one I think you should have is going to be in regards to double tap. Specifically for this strategy, I am going to be using a shotgun, which I will get to next. However, I'm going to run double standard, so all non-critical shots do double damage. I'm going to use the double time, increase the fire rate a little bit more, and then double play. Killing 2 enemies in quick succession has a chance of returning 2 rounds to your magazine. I mean, you can obviously run whatever you want, but I think these are the things that are the most important to having success with this strategy. So try to get these unlocked if you don't already have them available to you. And in this case, I would probably run the double play over the double time if you don't have the 2 minor augment slots available, just so that way you are able to take advantage of bullets coming back to your magazine, which can be really helpful with this specific strategy. Now, my recommended weapon for efficiency for this strategy is going to be the Akita shotgun. I will put the build code down in the pinned comment down below for those of you that are interested. But the main reason that I am going to be able to utilize this is it's just for efficiency's sake. I'm going to be able to basically stand in one spot. I'm going to be able to take out the zombies pretty much consistently the entirety of the time without having any struggles. And it's going to allow me to get to a certain point within the match without having any issues and things like that, where I'm going to be able to pretty much min-max the amount of XP I earn per minute, which is extremely important to this strategy. Now let's go ahead and dive into what you actually need to do when you get within the match. When you first start up, you're going to be in farm survival, you're going to turn on the power, and you're not going to want to run the Rampage Inducer for any of this, just based on the testing that I did. I did both testing with the Rampage Inducer and without the Rampage Inducer. And without the Rampage Inducer entirely, you can just earn your augments that much faster. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it has a lot to do with the XP earn rate per minute. And you guys are just going to want to min-max on that in order to be able to get through these things faster. So when you first get into the match, you are going to start progressing the rounds. Like I said, make sure you get the pump taken care of. You go into the barn, you turn on the power, and you are going to want to make sure you have that Toxic Growth equipped. If you have access to a full power, go ahead and pop that through the gobblegum. Otherwise, you're just going to continue eliminating zombies until you've built up a field upgrade charge. You're going to go over to one of the spores, place it down, and essentially take advantage of just spraying these spores each and every round that they grow and putting down new toxic growths on the other ones around the area. There are 3 of them. You guys should be pretty familiar with this method at this point on how you guys can take advantage of these toxic growths. But the goal is to get Pack-a-Punch level 2 and epic rarity without having to spend any currency whatsoever. That way you can actually open up the house, go up to the 2nd floor, spend the currency that you do have on some perks and upgrades that way, and you're going to be able to then actually start the strategy itself. Now, hopefully within the first like 10 to 15 rounds, you're going to be able to knock all this stuff out. So you'll be at least Pack-a-Punch level 2, epic, possibly legendary rarity, just depending on how many actual spores you go through in order to get to that point. And then you might even be able to get to legendary as well. And then you'll be able to go up, like I said, get those perks available to you and be able to stand in that spot right next to the Wonder Fizz where the zombies only come up in one direction. Now, the reason that this is so impactful is because the Akita is essentially going to one-shot anything that comes up for a good portion of the match. And as you continue to upgrade, getting into Pack-a-Punch level 3 when you can afford it, making sure you're upgrading your armor as you go along. And of course, if you didn't get legendary early enough, you can eventually get that as well, just increasing the amount of damage that you're doing. Now, I did mention the double tap augment double standard, which is going to help you a lot in this spot as well, because you don't even have to aim at the head at all to get the headshots to increase your damage. You basically just aim in one direction. Anything coming up is going to get annihilated, making the zombies and the ravagers and pretty much anything that's not a bear really easy to take care of. Now, when it comes to the bears, you do have a couple of options. If you get access to a Casimir, it's pretty easy to throw one in the room with you right near the Wonder Fizz, and it essentially will pull in all the zombies, allowing you to focus a little bit on the bear next to you. You should be able to annihilate the bear pretty quickly, especially if you're keeping up with your upgrades. Or you can choose to cover the doorways both to the outside patio and to the back room, or I guess into the bedroom itself, with the toxic growth. That way the bear coming in gets trapped in the toxic growth. You can turn, fire at it. Usually you can eliminate it fast enough to where you don't take too much damage from the zombies coming up, and you'll be able to turn and then finish going through and annihilating your zombies. Overall, I don't think the bears will be a huge hurdle for you, especially because you're not going to be in this match all that long. I did both a Rampage Inducer run to round 41 and then a non-Rampage Inducer run to round 36. And the non-Rampage Inducer round allowed me to earn more XP toward my Augment research than when I was running the Rampage Inducer. The other negative of having the Rampage Inducer is that I went further in the run, meaning that the zombies got more difficult, the bears came in more consistently, and obviously things were just a lot more quick as far as spawns and all that, so it was just a lot more challenging. I didn't have to deal with any of that in the no Rampage Inducer run, and it just made things a lot easier, and honestly, I was pretty hands-off for the most part. Now, you should actually be able to stand in this one location till roughly round 36 without any issues. You go to 41, it tends to get a little bit crazier, and past 41, it's almost impossible to stay in place, but I am fairly confident if you're using the setup that I'm using for the shotgun, and you're using some of the augments that I've recommended, you guys shouldn't have any issue standing within this location, especially with the Rampage Inducer off for the 36 rounds, or I guess 35 rounds. And then I was choosing to exfil on round 36. This is going to give you the opportunity to min-max, giving you about 1,000 XP earned per minute, which is going to earn you 1% towards your augment research, roughly every 4.67 minutes. So it's going to take you about 7.78 hours to go all the way from 0 to 100% if you're researching one of the new BO7 augments or one of the new BO7 items and their augments. It's going to obviously be all of the tracks, but if it's one of the items that you already had full research coming out of BO6, it is going to start at 47%, and that 53% is roughly going to take you 4 hours to complete. Now, the reason this strategy is so good is because it min-maxes the amount of XP you earn per minute, allowing you to maximize the amount of research that you can get and do it in the fastest possible amount of time. Now, the main reason, again, for exfilling at round 36 and not going beyond that, even though the XP per minute could technically stay the same, is that it is just going to get more difficult. So I feel like it's easier to just reset and get back into that location and just deal with the easier zombies, the less difficult bears, and not have to deal with the doppelgas. Now, my hope after watching this video is that you guys will go in and be able to earn your augment research that much quicker in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Again, I'm sorry that it's not the most exciting strategy out there, but you guys could change pace by doing different weapons and stuff and stand in this exact same location and get at least boosted results to some degree. Whereas if you're probably playing the game a little bit more casually or running around the map doing things a little bit more appropriately, you might half your experience or even get 25% less experience per minute, which is just going to make that research take quite a bit longer. Now, that's going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one.